Welcome back to another Tears Take review. I'm Tierney. I'm going to recap and give you my reaction to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 14, episode 17. This is their season finale. So y'all, we made it through a whole season, and I'm going to go over just my initial thoughts of what's been happening in the news with some of these crazy housewives. Of course, I will take you through all of the important parts of the episode and my reaction, and then we'll wrap it up with just some final thoughts on the season and the direction of the show. So if you're here for that, stick around. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to just build a community. And by doing so, it actually shoots out my content to other Bravo lovers like yourself. So do me that favor and let's get to it. So in a nutshell, I am very disappointed in these ladies. And I hesitated for a second because I shouldn't be disappointed, and I know that. But I think I am very disappointed in Boz from just what I've been hearing, from what her how she carried herself on Watch What Happens Live. I'm going to try to just keep an open mind because we haven't seen the reunion yet. We haven't seen, we haven't heard any context as to where she is with Garcelle. But current day, as it stands today, I'm like, damn. Because y'all know I've been writing so hard for her in my recaps, and I just been like, she's Boz, she's great, she's wonderful. And I don't know, Boz. And I don't know. She's just been clicking down for me. I think there's a way, unless Garcelle has done something severely disrespectful to you, I think there's a way to still maintain, there's a way to still be on code. And if you know, you know. And what Boz was doing and how she was acting, she was not on code at all. I would not depend on that woman to have my back or any sort of level of respect. I wouldn't depend on her for that, because what she exhibited was real, like, flip-floppy follower behavior. And that's just not something that boss Boz, and how she like portrayed herself throughout the season and how she portrays herself online, that's not her brand. And some of her facade fell that night, the way she was acting. And I wasn't disappointed in Erika. She's always been nasty. She's, besides her terrible non-existing storyline, she was okay for me for the majority of this season. It seemed like at the end of this season, she realized she gave absolutely nothing and started to pick fights and started to dwell on things and just started trying to get activated. And it's like, girl, stop. You are a day late and a dollar short. You're tired. You're done. You're done. Your storyline's done. Bye. So I wasn't really disappointed in her, but I'm just wondering why is she so mad at Garcelle? Like I said, I'm trying to keep an open mind. We might learn something in the reunion. I'm just we haven't seen Garcelle do anything grossly disrespectful that these women haven't done to her, right? So it's just hey, could it be possible that she did something so terrible to these people that they can't forgive her and now they're shading her all crazy? Possible. But what I've seen from her over the few years versus what I've seen from Erika over the few years, not likely. I did a post that said, you would have thought from the way that Erika treats Garcelle, you would have thought that Garcelle cussed Erika's son out, or that Garcelle posted a picture of Erika's phone in the trash. Oh, wait, no. That was the other way around. Erika, why are you so mad? Because you have shown your ass completely when it comes to this woman who has, she said Tom called her 5 years ago. Is that what you're mad at? What are you mad at? What did she do to you? So, trying to keep an open mind. I don't want to jump to conclusions and then come back on here and say, I'm sorry, y'all. But I'm just from the way I know that Garcelle moves and the way I know Erika moves and the rest of most of that group, I don't think she did anything to warrant all the venom that Erika's been shading her. It wasn't even just Watch What Happens Live. All these other interviews, portraying the show or promoting the show, it's been, I just want her to show her life. And it's Y'all know how I feel about her. She's not done this season. So miss me with that. I don't know what that girl did to you. I don't know why well, I know why you're so threatened. So maybe it's just you're threatened and you're mad, but like spew that elsewhere because Garcelle didn't do anything to you. And you know what? Now that Garcelle left, you can. So speaking of that, we know that Garcelle has announced her departure from the show. She left on good terms. Andy told her she can come back anytime she wants. And it was her decision. I see some people like, oh, she got fired. No, because if you guys knew anything about the way this housewife machine works, you would know that unless somebody does something completely like illegal or crazy, and sometimes not even that, sometimes they still get a pass, most times, unless they just did something off the charts crazy, like they're saying Kenya Moore did, they're not firing anyone until after the reunion airs. And that's when they make their final decision because they want to see how you performed in the season and how you performed in the reunion. And then they make their final assessment of who can stay and who can go. So since Garcelle made her announcement before the airing of the reunion, she did not get fired. But Andy confirmed that she quit, and even that raggedy Erika confirmed that she quit. So hopefully the naysayers and the people who want to find a fault in everything this woman does, and don't get me wrong, she was bugging me a lot this season. I am not some like Garcelle crusader, but what we're not going to do is sit up here and take away her accomplishments, Erika. We're not going to sit up here and say, oh, she got fired. No, she didn't. She quit. Like, we're not going to just like rewrite history because I don't like her. And let me guess why you don't like her. Last thing I want to touch on, because I know this like little intro is getting a little long before we dive into the episode, is Sutton. Sutton, I'm going to give you the business a little later, probably. But I'm just going to say, I told y'all that I'm normally rooting for Sutton. I want her to do well. She always starts off so strong and then she ends up flopping, and she did it again. So I'm not surprised. I don't know what her problem is. I don't know what it is, but I'm over her, and I'm just officially over her. I guess that's my like assessment on Sutton, is like I'm always rooting for her. I'm always like, I think she's funny a lot of the times when she's not doing her rehearsed reads. I think what she says is funny some of the time. She does go low. She does, you know, she's not perfect either. I'm not saying she's perfect, but for the most part, I have enjoyed her on the show, and I am so over her because Sutton, you're just pathetic. You're just pathetic. You're a pathetic friend. You're pathetic, like, wannabe. So I'm over you too. You can go. This show is not it for me right now. And I'm starting to feel feelings about this show the way I was feeling about Potomac right before I just kind of like stepped away from Potomac. Because I want my time to watch these women to be like mostly enjoyable, right? And so we'll see. I'm not making any call yet. But, if I don't see like an overhaul of this cast, I may just need to take a break and walk away because no one's forcing me to watch this. So I may just need a break because these women are so boring. They don't share their real lives. They're fraudulent. They're hypocritical. They're followers. And I need strong women who have an aspirational lifestyle, who at the end of the day, Sutton, have a real sisterhood or just real, like, how about this? How about just respectful relationships? How about that? Let me know down below if you are picking up what I'm putting down, if you feel the same way, or if you ended up like loving this season. I want to hear from you. I am open to differing opinions. So let me know. All right, so episode opens. They're still on the catamaran. Sutton is still crying after her big storm off. Jennifer comes and brings her some water. Not a whole lot else happened on this the rest of this boat ride, Dorit and Kyle and Erika go swimming. Garcelle and Boz chat. That was really it. Nothing, earth shattering. After the boat ride, they get back to the villas and everyone is glamming up and getting ready for dinner. Boz is saying that she just wants to have fun. Things have been tense. And Jennifer tells Sutton that, it seemed that the attack on Sutton by Erika and Dorit seemed like pre-planned or pre-rehearsed, and she was just giving her opinions on that. Garcelle tells Sutton that, she just points out that, hey, Kyle didn't stand up for you. And Sutton agrees, and she's so upset. And she's like, we had such a great time in Georgia. And I'm like, and like, did you think that you were best friends after that? Like, did we miss an episode? Because right before the Georgia trip, you were coming at Kyle's neck saying we're not bowing down to the altar of Kyle Richards. And then then you go on this like random produced trip. I'm 99% sure production the way Sutton's so obsessed with her, now I'm 50% sure that production just told you to take Kyle because you guys did not seem to be in a good place at the time. And then after this trip, you thought she was going to just be Team Sutton? Are you okay? Like, seriously. Sutton, you are so strange. You're so strange. It's like, you're just sad. I don't know. But anyway, she's like, we had such a great time in Georgia, and I'm just so upset that our relationship had a setback. And I'm like, this is always your relationship. She's always throwing you under the bus. Like, her being quiet is actually a step up from what she usually does, because she normally throws you under the bus at any given chance. So at least she stayed quiet. So maybe you should be rejoicing that she's not doing what she normally does and how she normally treats you. And so, and have y'all noticed, like, I'll highlight this. I'll highlight this a little bit more in the rest of the episode. But have y'all noticed that Kyle, I gave her props earlier in the season that she does a lot of like one-on-one talks, and she really solidifies her social position on the show, in the cast, because she does, to an extent, forge relationships with everyone in the show at some point, right? Or at least with the full-time cast members, right? And I just have a feeling that like Sutton, I think it's twofold. I think one, Kyle is manipulative and knows the desperation that Sutton has. And so I think behind closed doors, it's, I love you, Sutton. We are such great friends. Like, we're really great friends. I love you. I trust you. I value you. I think she's gassing her up behind the scenes. And then I think whatever manipulation Kyle is doing behind the scenes, Sutton is just like eating it all up. And she's so like desperate for it that she's like, yes, like now I'm in with her. Now I'm one of her besties. And you're not. And then when Kyle gets in front of people, she's either hush mouth or throwing you under the bus or making fun of you or dismissing you. And I'm just like, it shouldn't, like, it's been happening for years. So I'm confused what you're not seeing, because we, the general public, have seen this. So then in Sutton and Garcelle's conversation, Sutton says, these women just want to break me. They've been trying to break me for years. And then cue the flashbacks, and we see flashbacks of like Erika cussing her out, Kyle yelling at her, and just like Lisa Rinna. Like, I was like, where'd y'all dig that up? Like, I was random. Like, they pulled in Lisa Rinna's, saying F you to Sutton, and just basically showing how they pretty much like pile on Sutton at any given chance. Garcelle agrees in a confessional that Sutton does put her foot in her mouth. And back to the scene, she tells Sutton, girl, just go get your makeup on. Like, let's go. Just, suck it up, get your makeup on, let's go. And Sutton goes to her room upset. Jennifer Tilly comes to Garcelle like, hey, what happened? And And Garcelle just tells her, like, yeah, I was telling her how Kyle doesn't stick up for her. And even Jennifer Tilly said, yeah, I've told her that Kyle is not her friend. I've noticed that too. I'm like, so we just can't help you. Because if you're not listening to your best friends, you're not listening to the viewing public, you just like the abuse at this point. So fine. Enjoy it. I don't care anymore. I'm done with you, Sutton. I don't care. So the ladies go to Boz's villa to just kind of gather before they go to dinner. And I think Garcelle looked really pretty. I liked, the way that the color of her dress kind of complemented her skin and her hair. I thought she looked pretty. I always talk about when I don't think she looks good, so I just wanted to give her some credit that I personally liked what she wore. They asked where Sutton is, and instead of just saying like, oh, she's going to meet us later, like there's a way to just answer the question but not give too much so that it doesn't open up more questions. You could have just been like, oh yeah, she's coming. Yeah, she's just running behind. Period. Right? No, here goes Jennifer Tilly. Oh, well, there was a glitch in the matrix and she's getting repaired. They're like, what does that mean? And she's like, oh, she was just upset and she's having a hard time. Basically telling these women, yeah, y'all got her spiraling, right? And then here goes Erika in her confessional. Well, I don't know what the big deal is. I just asked her a question, right? Isn't that what they did? They just asked me a question. Girl, that was 5 years ago. That was 2020. Okay, I'll give you 4 years because this was filmed in 2024. So, honey, you got to let the mouse go, okay? Let it go. They asked you in 2020, hey, what did you know about this crazy ass Ponzi scheme that the man you were sleeping next to was running? What did you know? And you want to compare that to you attacking this girl on a boat? And don't get me wrong, I feel like what Erika was saying like had a lot of valid points. But don't sit up here and act like those two are the same things. They're not. That's when Jennifer Tilly says to the group that, yeah, Sutton felt that it was a coordinated attack and, she just felt like, it was a plan to by both of you guys to attack her. And Erika's like, I'm insulted by that. Girl, shut up. Who cares? Kyle, you guys are always so insulted, but y'all can do whatever you want, treat people however you want, and expect them to just move on. No. Yes, someone can have a reaction to the bullshit that you do. Okay? Just like you can have a reaction. If you can have a reaction and or what? If you can do all that because it's a reaction to what someone said or did to you, then someone can say, oh, that didn't feel good. I feel like that was kind of coordinated. Someone else can have that reaction to the mess that you do. Fair is fair, okay? Calm it down. So then Garcelle awkwardly points at Kyle and was just like, Sutton wants blind loyalty from you. I was like, no. We're not going to have a Tamara Bass Lake moment, okay? That's the only big point that you can do, okay? And Tamara Judge, as raggedy as she is, Tamara owns the big point, okay? I was like, okay, that was awkward. Like, again, Garcelle, I was cheering for you last episode. I was like, yes, she finally saw the light. She's not, jumping in for Sutton. And then, like, you did a lot of talking for Sutton again this episode. You were her spokesperson a lot this episode. Like, what is going on with you? Please tell us something. And so she's like, she wants loyalty from you, Kyle. And Kyle was like, what? Like, I'm not the only one that stayed quiet. Why does she want that? That's crazy. Like, whatever. Like, she dismissed it and shut it down real quick. And I was like, And even Boz was like, but Kyle packed you up real quick, easy and nice. She didn't even blink. She wasn't stuttering then, because any other time it's, But, this time, bop, 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 overdone and out. And I was like, I'm not mad. Like, I would be so sick of Garcelle speaking up for Sutton because I'm sick as a viewer. So if I had to deal with that in person, I would react as Kyle did. Because from Kyle's point of view, Garcelle's closest friends didn't stick up for her in the moment. So why are the closest friends then getting on Kyle? I get that. From our point of view, we know that Garcelle was purposely sitting it out. I can't speak for Jay Tilly. I don't know what you were doing, Jennifer. but Kyle wasn't wrong there. So the ladies go down to the beach before dinner, and Bo's set up, some vendors, and they're right on the water, and it seems like a really cute, fun setup. Sutton decides to head down there, and she says in her confessional, oh, well, I'm going for 2 reasons. 1, my outfit looks really good, and 2, I'm not going to let these ladies think that they broke me. I was like, girl, your contract mandates you to attend the finale party. So you took your ass to the beach because you wanted your check. Okay? So Jennifer Tilly, I always say her full name. So Jennifer meets up with Sutton. They're just, perusing the vendors. And Jennifer brings up that the other ladies wanted to know where Sutton was. And Jennifer and Garcelle shared that she was upset, and Sutton was stressed. She said, why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? I'm like, oh, girl. And in her confessional, Sutton says, I don't even plan on fighting tonight, so it's fine. It's all good. And then here comes Kyle butting in, because Kyle doesn't miss a camera. She doesn't miss producing. She just always pops up. And Jennifer walks away. And Kyle, of course, just avoids accountability. She says, I stayed out of it because it was your and Erika's fight. It didn't have anything to do with me. And basically said something like, hey, everyone's been in the hot seat, just diminishing how Sutton was feeling. Like, she's the worst kind of friend. But then again, she's not really Sutton's friend. So maybe she's really compassionate and empathetic and understanding to people she's actually friends with. But I can't stand, if I'm really upset about something, at least just acknowledge it and sit in it with me for a minute before we jump to solutions or playing devil's advocate or all these other things. I don't care about that right now. My feelings are hurt. I'm coming to you vulnerable. So help me feel safe and don't sit up here and make excuses for the op, right? But that's Kyle. She's not even a friend, and she's really self-centered. So it was, everyone's been in the hot seat. Everyone faces things that they don't like. Kyle, you were never in the hot seat. Ever, ever, ever. I will say you're like Houdini, girl, because every time I think it's a Kyle takedown season, you always turn that around. So I will give credit where credit's due, because I remember that season where they turned on Denise. That started out, it seemed like a Kyle takedown. Dorit was kind of side-eyeing you. Denise was side-eyeing you. Garcelle was side-eyeing you. It seemed that people were voicing more about their discontent with Miss Richards. And then what happened? Resurrected Brandi Glanville and got this rumor going. And and by the way, she also said all these things about you. And I'm not mad at you. And then this season, when Sutton was kind of leading the charge, and even last season, you were able to just whip these girls right back into shape. So you know what? Go ahead, Kyle. I'm not mad at you. So somewhere in that conversation, I think is when Kyle's like, oh, I love you, and something like that. I think she said it in that conversation, and that is what I said earlier of I've only seen Kyle say, you're my friend and I love you, in front of Sutton or in front of Garcelle and Jennifer Tilly. I have never seen her take a stand in front of the Fox Force 5 and say, no, Sutton's my friend. I care about her. I love her. What you guys doing is out of line. I've never seen her do that ever in my life. Ever. I don't follow her on social media, but I don't even think she'd be hanging out with her and posting her on social all like that. Not that, hey, they're 50 plus and do what you want on your own social page. But I'm just saying that it gives credence to the fact that y'all are not real friends. I'm on one today, guys. I'm sorry. But this finale and all of the things that happened since the finale really got me all the way effed up. Then Kathy walks up to Sutton and Kyle walks away, and Kathy, what were you wearing? You looked a mess. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be dripping in furs and diamonds all the time. You don't have to flaunt that you're rich, but you can look put together. Your hair always looks a mess. Most of the time, your outfits look a mess. You look nasty. Like, did you even wash your ass? Ugh. So anyway, Kathy comes up to Sutton and tries to like, oh, what's wrong, honey? And Sutton shut it down. She was like, I just want to be a Barbie, and I want to shop and just be a Barbie. I just want to keep things really surface. I'm not even trying to go there right now. I don't want to get upset. I just want to like get through this night pretty much. And so Kathy was like, okay, you got it. Cool. And then the ladies go to sit down for dinner. For dinner, Erika and Dorit are talking, and they're just like, I can't believe she is saying that we conspired against her. And then Dorit says, well, that's something that Sutton would do, and that's why she's projecting it onto us. And I'm like, y'all all do it. It's very clear that the alliance meets beforehand and they agree on who they're going to attack and what they're going to say and what they're going to bring up. So like, it doesn't surprise me if they did talk about it beforehand. It didn't seem that way. It seemed that Dorit just kind of chimed in with what she heard. She was already beefing with Sutton, so it wasn't a surprise that she jumped in. For this particular like catamaran fiasco, that did not seem orchestrated, but if someone like proved that it was, it wouldn't be surprising to me. We've seen that alliance, that group, always conspire to try to take people down. But I will say, Miss Sutton, you do the same thing. We've seen you on camera the season 11, when everything broke about Tom. You got all the girls together and you said, I don't want to be around Erika, and the next time I do have to see her, I'm gonna ask her this and this and this and this. So like, that's really similar to what you think they did to you. You're kind of laying it out there and planning what you're going to say and do and trying to garner some support before you confront that person. So like I said in half of these recaps, all y'all do the same thing. The Real Hypocrites of Beverly Hills. That should be the new name. So they're sitting down eating, and then Kathy went to the bathroom. She comes back in a new outfit, and she's like saying, oh yeah, I tinkled in my shorts. I tinkled in my shorts. Boz said it right. Sit your ass down, Kathy. That like I just would love to see the audience's reaction if Garcelle acted like half of these people. If Garcelle went around looking all disheveled, well, I will say I don't like her fashion choices, but she never looks disheveled. So if Garcelle went around looking disheveled like Kathy Hilton with tracks showing, went around talking about, oh yeah, I peed myself, went and ruined Sutton's fashion show, acted like Erika and got all sloppy drunk, or cursed out a child, or threatened, you ever do this again, I'm coming for you. If she did all this and all this rah-rah and all this mess that these other women did, and you think she has haters now for being way more classy than I could ever be, because I would have been read all these hoes down. But minds would explode, because it's just so interesting how she's held to such a different standard. I wonder why. So at the dinner, it's clearly just like awkward and dry. Nothing's going on. Kyle made some impressions of, how Garcelle is flirting with the wait staff, and then she did like a really like animated impression of Jennifer Tilly, and people were laughing. And then Erika and Dorit start making their impression of Sutton, and they're just making these like over exaggerated Southern accents. And I feel like if Sutton just kept her mouth shut, they just would have been looking stupid. But she lets them get under her skin every single time. And she starts mocking them back and starts like, that's not what I sound like. That's not what that is. And she starts doing all this. And they all looked a fool at the table. But I feel like if Sutton could have handled that so much better to just make them look like the idiots that they are. But she jumped in the mud with them, and now they all look stupid. So Sutton, you did not eat with that. And Sutton, Erika, or whatever, what's her name? Dorit and Erika, y'all did not eat with that either. And it's the next day. We see Kyle like lifting weights in the gym. She had like a hat on. I see a lot of people work out with hats on. I don't understand that. If you work out in a hat and there's a benefit to doing so, let me know below, because I get too hot for that. But anyway, so Kyle's in the gym pumping some iron. And then Jennifer Tilly comes out. She's just talking to Garcelle. And Garcelle's like looking at her jewelry. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is my vacation jewelry. I'm like, Jennifer, I want to be you. I just want to be you. Sutton and Boz go to make chocolate. Sutton looked actually really nice in this scene. I will say that. And this is the first time that we're actually seeing Boz and Sutton have some one-on-one time with each other, which is strange because Boz came on as a friend of Sutton's. Now, those in the Housewives game, we know that, just because someone brings them on doesn't mean that they've been best friends, this whole time. But I'm like, can y'all pretend? Like, can you... as far as I know, they knew each other socially. So it would have been nice if we got a Sutton and Boz scene. And I would have loved another Boz and Garcelle scene. We saw a little bit on this boat, in this episode. But so while they're making chocolate, Garcelle, Kyle, and Jennifer go to the beach. And, they're just laying out, ordering food and ordering drinks. So the girls are talking. Turns out Kyle has not posted her thirst trap yet because Morgan's not going to let her. And Jennifer Tilly's thirst trap is reaching 100,000 likes. So I said, go ahead, Jennifer. So then Garcelle told Kyle that Kyle is the hero in Sutton's story, and it really hurt Sutton's feelings when she didn't come to her rescue on the boat. And, Kyle's like, well, why? And, why? She has other friends. Like, why? I don't understand. And Garcelle was like, for some reason, it just hurts more with you. And Kyle was like, well, why? And she said, that's an answer that only Sutton can answer. She was like, I don't know. And again, just caping for her. Let them have a conversation. So then in a confessional, Garcelle basically says, basically that on this trip, she realized that Sutton chose Kyle, and she's going to have to make a decision if that's going to affect their friendship. And I think that, it doesn't have to hurt the friendship. You guys can still go out for drinks, but you now know where you land with her. And it's not that you have to cut her off completely, but she is not your ride or die. She is not the friend that you are to her. So just pull back on what you give her. Pull back on the amenities. You don't get me caping for you. You don't get this unlimited ride or die support. We gonna get some drinks. We gonna text a little bit. Hee hee ha ha. We might go shopping, and that's it. But you just gotta take back on pull back your services a bit, because where she is and where you are, you guys were on two different pages on what this friendship was. So now so act accordingly. So then they switch topics and they talk about Kyle and Mauricio. So then Jennifer said that she has a lot of friends who married and divorced wealthy men. And basically these men act crazy, get a divorce lawyer who can look out for your best interests and speak on your behalf and act on your behalf to make sure that you're getting, to make sure that you're getting what you deserve. Because basically when Jennifer was divorcing her husband, he offered her half of the bank account, but she hired a divorce lawyer and she was able to get a piece of The Simpsons. And she said, I'm not buying diamonds with my Chucky money. She said, the Chucky money buys snacks. She said, that came from The Simpsons. I said, Jennifer, goals. So that was really good advice for Kyle. Will she take it? Who knows? I don't care. So moving on. So back with Boz and Sutton making chocolate, or they're just hanging out at the location. Sutton just tells Boz, that she felt like she was in a good place with Erika and felt blindsided on the boat. And she points out the hypocrisy and the double standard of that alliance of Erika, Dorit, and Kyle, how they do the things that Sutton does to them, but then they forgive each other and move on much easier. So basically she tells Boz, she tells Boz, Erika keeps talking about how I hurt her in her lowest point, which is season 11 and all the Tom stuff happening. During that same period of time, we see on camera Kyle and Dorit and their husbands having a good old time laughing at Erika. That scene was hilarious, actually. That scene was hilarious. That's the best scene that Mauricio and PK have ever done. That's a classic. Sutton says in a confessional, Boz doesn't know the history and she doesn't understand that these girls have an alliance and an allegiance to each other, and they're just always going to let each other slide. And I'm like, do you not know that? Because why are we even confused at why are they treating me this way when they do the same thing? You shouldn't even be confused at this point. The problem with Sutton is that she doesn't know how to pull things from her memory in the moment of the confrontation. She just feels attacked and she goes low, and she just attacks back and usually winds up going low instead of like being able to recall these things. It's like you have a store, but outside of that, you don't have like a job. So you should know when you're interacting with these people, have those receipts ready and pull it out, because I would have loved to see what would their reactions be if you said, like, pull it out one by one. Okay, so this is what happened. You said I did this. Okay, but Kyle did this. So what's the difference? Okay, but Dorit did this. So what's the difference? I would love to see that. I mean, at the end of the day, people can treat you and respond to you however they want. If they want to give their closer friends, I struggled when I just said friends because they're not real friends. They're an alliance. But if they want to let their alliance slide, they can do that at the end of the day. Sutton, what are you going to do differently? How are you going to move and act differently with these women so that they know not to play with you? That's the problem here, because I can harp all day on what they need to do and what they need to change, but they don't have to. They're grown women, and if they want to be vile human beings, they can continue to be vile human beings. But Sutton, what are you going to do in response? And how are you going to protect yourself? And how are you going to let them know that you're not the one or the two? That's what we're missing in all of this. But you're too busy running up behind them, trying to please like me, and I want to be with the cool girls, that they don't care. Like, they are like, girl. So they continue to play in your face, and they will continue to do so if you come back next season. And they're going to go, you thought they were hard on you then? Without your bodyguard Garcelle, they're going to have you run off the show in the first episode. I see it. So just to wrap up that scene with Erika, oh my God. So just to wrap up that scene with Boz and Sutton, Sutton says something to the effect of, yeah, I just have to keep in mind that, they're going through a lot, meaning Kyle and Dorit, maybe even Erika. I guess she's saying all three of them have been through a lot, going through a lot. And she was like, yeah, it probably hurts them even more just to see me where I am. Where are you? Following up behind them? That's where you are. You have money. Okay, Kyle has money. And Dorit and Erika not so much. But I don't think that they are that pressed when they see Sutton. Maybe it makes Sutton feel better if she tells herself oh, they're just jealous of me. Girls who get bullied, or people who can't seem to get along with other people, and people who may rub others the wrong way, and maybe always get that feedback of hey, you're just not likable. A lot of those people tend to say, oh, well, they're just jealous. Oh, they're just you have to tell yourself so that you don't feel bad that you're a terrible person. And that also avoids having to do the inner work to find out why you're a terrible person or why you're coming off that way. Right. Yeah, I'm that's a choice. Because it's really easy to say, oh, they're just jealous, rather than being okay, I don't agree with everything, but yeah, I did do the one thing that they said. Okay, I'll give her that. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said, at least I didn't have a gun to my head. And okay, she was already upset, and maybe I shouldn't have said at a dinner table, what's going on with your marriage? Okay, like there are, things that you can own. You're not perfect, and neither are they. So it's not a matter of like taking all the blame, but you can take some of what they say and just say, like, all right, maybe there are some things I could have changed or ways I could have reacted better. But to just brush it off with, oh, well, they're just jealous, girl, let's be for real. All right. So if you've been with me this long, thank you. We are going to wrap this up. So then we have the women getting into their carnival. Is it carnival or carnival? I feel like I used to hang with some Caribbeans in the day, and I feel like I used to hear carnaval. Maybe that's just the accent, whatever. And I'm no disrespect. I'm genuinely curious. Anyway, so the women get in their costumes. It is carnival in St. Lucia, so they get in the really festive outfits and the feathers, and they're scantily clad, and they look, most of them look really good, and really were good sports with putting like dental floss on. um but like I said, most look good, but I gotta give it to her. I can't stand her. She is vile. But Erika Jayne won, hands down. She looked amazing. I was questioning some things. I'm like, but she looked really good. Can't hate there. So they all meet up in the villa. They all look great. They all go down to the beach. They're all like sitting down, and it's hard for them to even like turn to look at each other because of their big like wings. And I'm like, no one thought about these logistics, but they all just did what they could. So they all cheers with some rum punch, and that rum punch looked good. I'm like, damn, I told y'all I need a vacation, and I need a rum punch. So then here we go with Erika. Like they're about to, they just can't have a dinner that's like normal. They always have to have some sort of conflict. So then here goes Erika bringing up collusion gate. And I'm like, here you go grasping for a damn like storyline, or like you grasping for something that they can show in the Erika package at the reunion, because I really think she was like, damn, this is the finale. I ain't do shit. So because my God. So here goes Erika. Like, some people said that I coordinated an attack on Sutton. Was it you? Or was it you? And she's pointing to, I think, Jennifer Tilly and I think Garcelle. Girl, spare me the theatrics. I don't know how these women do not laugh in her face, because sometimes when she goes in these like, I don't know what kind of character she thinks she is. I don't know if she still thinks that she's working with Eileen Davidson on Young and the Restless. I would have been like, girl, if you don't get out my entire face, and I would have just been drinking my rum punch. But it was all dramatic for no reason. It could have just been like, hey, I just want to bring something to the table, guys. Like, I just want to make really clear, I heard that you guys thought this, and this is really what happened. Done. It was I just want to, was it you? Or you? Girl. And I like a dramatic moment, but Erika be doing too much. Like, she swears she's on The Sopranos or something. Basically Jennifer Tilly tries to clean it up, and she's like, oh no, it's just what I thought, and it's just what, whatever. And then Erika tells the group that her and Sutton had a conversation, and in the flashback we see Sutton leaving Garcelle and Jennifer out to dry again, like, oh no, I didn't hear that, oh no, I didn't see that, oh no, I knew nothing about that. I'm like, so Erika draws it home one more time that there was no collusion. And then Garcelle speaks up and she says, Erika, we've been through a lot. Y'all haven't been through a lot. Erika did a lot to you, but okay. She's like, Erika, we've been through a lot. We're still building our friendship. I just want to let you know I believe you. And Erika says, thank you. I gotta find moments to laugh because I can't stand these people. And then in the confessional, Garcelle says, I just really want to make an effort to get to know these other women and for them to get to know me. Garcelle, you're about 5 years too late. And this is why I give praise to Kyle for forging and just trying to make sure she's in a good place with all the women. Because you're like, what are you doing? You can't attach yourself to one person, and especially someone as volatile as Sutton. And like, it's not good for your standing with the group. And now you're realizing, oh, Sutton's not the friend I thought she was. Oh, what about these other ladies here who I've been sitting around and getting in their business for 5 years? Yeah, maybe they'll like me now. No. Because if I were them, I'd be like, go on with your little friend. You made no effort. Like, and it's vice versa. They weren't the most welcoming, but you're too late, too little too late. Like, you can't have this epiphany years later, like, oh, I want to be a friend. It doesn't matter. She's gone. She's off the show. So maybe she'll come back after some of these other Fox Forces leave, and maybe there can be a new era with some new energy for her to connect with. But yeah, I was just watching it like, huh? This is why you get to know other people. Don't cling on to just one person, ever. So then the ladies go dancing and they're having fun, and really just having fun at the carnival and listening to music, trying to dance, because I don't know what half of them were doing, but having fun nonetheless. As they're dancing, we see like the final title cards. Garcelle is still booked and busy. She has a new granddaughter, so she's happy about that. Boz is trying for a baby naturally with Keely. He finally said he loves her. For Sutton, she's saying that her relationship with Dorit is still on ice, but things are still going well with her mom. Kyle's at a stalemate with Mauricio. Worst storyline ever. Dorit has no plans to rekindle with PK anytime soon. Erika hasn't talked to Tom, but her career as Erika Jane is going well. She's getting some opportunities. I heard that she was on Masked Singer. I heard that the video that I saw of the character, who people are saying that she is the Yorkie, I was like, oh yeah, that does sound like her. So if she's getting, sounds like she's getting opportunities, she's going to be opening for someone in London, or she has some show in London. Like she was on Broadway. Like, she is doing, a lot of different things. So great for her, but maybe that will help her to stop being so miserable, because my God. So then the season, so before it closes, it flash forwards a month. Basically, Erika shares with the audience that Tom was found guilty of the things that he's been accused with. Girl, we knew. It's not shocking. She's trying to garner some sympathy. Oh, I just, I still feel for him and I still love him after 25 years. And I just didn't see his life ending this way. And he's facing 80 years and he doesn't have 80 days left. And it's amazing she can have all this sympathy for someone so evil, but couldn't spare a 2-sentence announcement of, hey, I am so sorry for anyone who has been wronged by my husband. I had nothing to do with it. I wish you guys the best. I hope everyone gets the settlement or help that they deserve. Erika out. Like, why she couldn't do that is beyond me. So girl missed me with all of the, oh, poor Tom. And I felt myself going back to a dark place. Girl, hush. We don't care. Your storyline, I thought you said everything was wrapped up years ago. I think season 12, you said, oh yeah, yeah, that's resolved. Yeah, I was exonerated. Yeah. It was like 12 or 13. She was like, yeah, girl, it's done. I just heard you're getting sued again for stuff that he was doing and related to that. So which is it? I can't stand her. I want her to go. So that was that. So final thoughts. I just said it. I feel like most of this cast can go. I think Kyle is an important, or at least was an important piece of the show, but she does not share her full life. And, we're not asking to be in the bedroom with you, but you have like two big things going on, and it's a divorce, and it's your husband like seeing other people and having that thrown in your face, and then you're dating and exploring, and you could have really just shown people how to navigate this with grace, or maybe not. I mean, that would have been relatable too. If you were crying in a closet, that's relatable too. And you had the opportunity to just highlight, hey, I'm in my 50s and I'm questioning some things, or maybe I've always questioned things and now I'm just acting on these. Like these are real things that real people experience. And you had the chance to just say, hey, I don't have it figured out, but this is my real life and it's messy right now. It's confusing. But all this like hush hush. And then, like I said, last season, you told the audience that your life is none of our effing business. Bye. I really think bravo, if you are one of the few people watching this, bravo. Y'all need to look into term limits on Housewives. Because if you can only be president for 4 years, only have a housewife on for 4 years, and then make them take a 2-year break, and then reassess if you and the audience want that person to come back for another 4 years. Because I think just people like Kyle, people like Nene, y'all got too comfortable. Y'all think this is your show and you can do whatever you want. It's not a good experience for the viewer. To some extent, yeah, it seems that like Bravo and production is like letting you slide, do whatever you do, still gives you first chair for giving absolutely nothing. But it's not a good viewing experience. You've brought nothing. You clearly want to go through some things behind closed doors, so go do it behind closed doors. But you're showing up, you're getting $1 million check for nothing. It's actually a slap in the face at this point. So Kyle can go, Erika can go. I'm sick of her. Dorit, girl, she's been hanging on to that diamond. She got a cold, firm grasp on that diamond. Because every year when it's time for her to get fired, she just pulls a storyline out of her butt. But she can go too. Garcelle's already gone. Sutton, I'm over her too. Damn. And then Boz, we gonna see. We gonna see what plays out at this reunion before I make my final assessment on you. I don't know. We've seen in the past how reboots, a reboot may not be the answer, but I think we do need to, cut at least two, and get two fresh housewives and maybe a new friend of, because the current cast is not it. But let me know your thoughts. Maybe it's just me. Let me know below what you think. What did you think of the season? Who do you want to stay? Who do you want to leave? If you want any cast changes, let me just know. I feel like this finale and season was lackluster. It had a couple of good episodes, but I said a few weeks back, what are we doing? Where are we going with this season? It's very disjointed. It's not as bad as last season, but this is in the top few worst Beverly Hills seasons for sure. So ladies, get it together. Production, get it together. If the story's not there, then halt production. I'd rather wait for a really good season than y'all just keep churning this stuff out and there's absolutely nothing happening with these people, or the things that are happening they're not talking about. So you as a production team need to make that call, or you need to make sure that you're getting more real stories out of them. And y'all need to say, if you want your check, you need to share what's happening. Period. Anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox. But like I said, I want to hear your thoughts below. Please comment below. Please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for rocking with me. Bye.